It wasn't until the man grabbed her wrist that he realized his wife hadn't been lying. But just then, the manipulative woman walked over and suddenly pressed down hard on the woman's injury. "This wound is fake," she declared coldly. The man, without a second thought, believed her. He immediately scolded his wife, accusing her of pretending just to get sympathy. What he didn't know, however, was that she no longer cared. Without a word, she picked up her suitcase, turned around, and walked out of the house. One of his relatives tried to convince him to go after her, but the man scoffed. "She'll come crawling back. Just give it time." He was wrong. Meanwhile, the woman arrived at the Civil Affairs Bureau. "I'd like to file for divorce," she told the clerk. Back when the injury happened, she had hurt her arm while fixing equipment at the factory. She needed a family member to sign the medical consent form, but when her husband arrived, he didn't come for her. He came for the manipulative woman, holding her arm, claiming she needed urgent care. The woman's best friend tried to step in and reason with him, urging him to help his own wife. But the man grew furious. "She's lying," he snapped. "And if she's the factory supervisor, she should have taken responsibility for the equipment malfunction." Just as the best friend was about to explain the real situation, the manipulative woman doubled over in fake pain. The man immediately rushed to her side and left. Watching them walk away, the woman felt her heart shatter. That's when she finally understood. He didn't love her anymore. So she took responsibility for everything and asked the doctor to treat her without his signature. As the doctor cleaned her wound, pain surged through her arm, bringing back painful memories. She had helped her husband build that factory from the ground up. But once he had the title of factory director, he brought the manipulative woman in and gave her a job. He started spending every day with her, criticizing his wife for not taking care of their guest, then disappearing with the other woman for hours. The next day, lying in the hospital bed, the woman received a letter that changed everything. She had been accepted into a prestigious university. Fate had given her a new path, and this time, she would take it. She was done being humiliated. She filed for divorce and decided to chase a future of her own. When the officer in charge of university admissions heard she would be attending, he was thrilled. He remembered her years ago. She had brilliantly solved the complex problem he'd posed in a public seminar. He personally came to pick her up for registration. Meanwhile, her husband finally began to feel regret. He reached out to her friends, hoping they could convince her to come back. But her friends had no sympathy left. They told him everything: the injury, the neglect, the betrayal. He rushed to her old apartment, only to learn she had already been picked up and taken away. Desperate, he decided to go find her himself. By that time, the woman had already arrived at the train station, where the officer and a group of staff welcomed her warmly. Moved to tears, she thanked them. As she stepped onto the train, her husband arrived, just moments too late. He was stopped by a school official who handed him her resignation letter along with the signed divorce documents. He ran into the station, but she was already gone. All he saw was a banner welcoming her to the university. Later, as the woman strolled through the campus, soaking in the fresh start she'd fought so hard for, the officer spotted her from across the courtyard. He jogged up to her, smiling, and asked how her arm was healing. Noticing the cool breeze, he took off his jacket and gently draped it over her shoulders.